Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we've got some pretty big things to go over. Some new Pokemon Legends EA details have dropped. We have some new Pokemon events that have been announced. And of course, today is the release date of the Nintendo Switch 2. So there's a couple of things to go over about the new console as well. Plenty of things to talk about. So if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, let's go over these new Pokemon events that have been announced, starting with Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. It's all about Porygon 2 in celebration of the Nintendo Switch 2 coming out. We had Porygon in the first couple of days of this week for the Nintendo Switch 1, but now the Switch 2 is here, and so are the Porygon 2 events. So we've got HDvee here tweeting out, saying, HDvee update, the next Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Mass Outbreak event has been announced. It focuses on Porygon 2, and it runs from the 5th of June through to the 16th of June. This is exactly the same as the Porygon situation. Shiny boosted, all areas of Paldea, Kitakami, Blueberry Academy. Really cool event in celebration of the Nintendo Switch 2. But it's not only that, we also have a new 7-star Terra Raid battle event as well for Porygon 2. We've got HDvee here tweeting out saying, HDvee update, the next Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet 7-star Terra Raid battle event has been announced. This focuses on Porygon 2. It runs from the 5th of June through to the 16th of June. So, never really had, I don't think, a middle stage 7-star. So I'm very surprised that this is 7-star. I'd expect it to be like 5-star raid or something like that. But either way, at the time you're watching this video, you've probably played the Nintendo Switch 2. Obviously, Scarlet and Violet run so much better, so these sort of events are so much nicer to play through with a much better version of the game. But anyway, that's the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet updates. And then as well as that, we have this from HDvee tweeting out saying, HDvee update, the next Pokemon Cafe remix delivery focus has been announced. It adds Leafeon's festive outfit into the game, and this runs from tomorrow, June the 6th, 2025. So those are all the new Pokemon updates from various different Pokemon games. Coming up next, we have something very interesting that dropped yesterday. It is a new trademark from Game Freak. It is called Beast of Reincarnation. So this was made on the 28th of May 2025, and then it dropped yesterday on the 4th, 5th of June, whatever, depending on time zones, obviously. So this is very, very interesting because PokeExperto tweets out saying new trademarks registered by Game Freak in Japan. So we have Ninja Spinner, which will likely be used by the Pokemon TCG. But then Beast of Reincarnation appears to be a trademark for a standalone Pokemon game. Nintendo does not own this trademark. So that's just what PokeExperto thinks. So obviously that's not confirmation. It is just the fact that this trademark is based on a game. It could be a Pokemon game, it's just not the TCG. So this is very interesting because of course we have the Pokemon Presents happening in July on the 22nd, and we might be getting something announced there in regards to a new app. That's what redevelopment said. He said that we are going to get a new app. Didn't state that we're going to see it in that Pokemon Presents, but it's very likely that that is when we're going to see it, because obviously the Pokemon Presents are when everything gets announced. It's not just Pokemon Legends EA, it's Pokemon Legends EA, Pokemon Champions, all the other mobile games, as well as other things as well, like merchandise, anime. Anything can be in that Pokemon Presents. So that could line up with what redevelopment is saying, but also Beast of Reincarnation, like that's, I don't know what that even could be. Like, I'm trying to think of a beast of a reincarnation that could to do with a Pokemon that could be to do with like a Pokemon game. And nothing really springs to mind. So this is definitely one to watch. We do also have Zhan talking about this as well, which could be what this trademark is about. And they're here saying, I have good reasons to believe that this is Project Bloom. So if you're unaware about what Project Bloom is, that is not a Pokemon game, but it is a different game being made by Game Freak. So it would kind of, I guess it would go hand in hand with what this trademark is, which is about a new game. And it's being made by Game Freak, who are obviously predominantly known for Pokemon, but they do also make other games as well. And this Project Bloom game is something else that Game Freak are working on, which we know about. It has been announced. I don't know when it was announced. It might have been like 2023 or something like that. It was a while ago. So yeah, this trademark could be about that. It could be about a Pokemon game. It could be about Project Bloom. It could be something to do with, you know, another kind of game that Game Freak are making. We just don't really know. It's just we're hoping that it's Pokemon because obviously we're all Pokemon fans here. But I don't know, it's definitely one to watch. If we do see anything about Beast of Reincarnation in the Presents on the 22nd of July, then you'll know it's obviously to do with that. But at this stage, it could be Project Bloom. It could be a Pokemon game. We are still kind of just waiting for a bit more information, but that was trademarked yesterday. Very exciting though. We'll see what happens with that. But either way, that's the trademark that I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Moving on, we have some new Pokemon Legends ZA details to go over. Of course, seeing as today is the Nintendo Switch 2 release day, it also means that Pokemon Legends ZA is now pre-orderable. Only the digital version though. We've got Cerebi here tweeting out saying, Cerebi update, Pokemon Legends ZA is available to pre-order on the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2 eShop. So again, you can pre-order it today, only the digital version on the Switch or the Switch 2. I don't know if you'll get any kind of pre-order bonus for doing this. You'll probably get like maybe some Pokeballs or something like that. They usually give you a couple of items and whatnot. Obviously, the early purchase bonus, whatever that is, you'll be fine to get that because that's just if you buy the game before a specific date. But in terms of pre-order bonus, that's obviously where you get the game from. I mean, the good thing about playing it digitally is the fact that you can just play it whenever it releases. This is a worldwide release, so it's not going to be releasing midnight for you. It's going to be releasing simultaneously everywhere at the exact same time, unless they change it, but that's what they've said in the trailers. So we don't know the time that this is releasing. I've got kind of an idea that it's going to be around the same time as when the DLCs dropped, because they've had 3 DLCs drop at around like 1, 2 in the morning for me, which was the Crown Tundra, the Blueberry Academy, and the Teal Mask. So all of those dropped around like 2-ish in the morning, 1-ish in the morning for me. So I'm assuming that Legends ZA will be very, very similar. But will that be on the 16th of October in like 1 in the morning? Or will it be like 17th of October, 1 in the morning? Because obviously time zones are a thing. So this game could be coming out on the 17th or the 16th, depending on where you're at, where you're at in the world. But either way, going off topic a little bit, it is now pre-orderable for everybody. You can pre-order it right now, but again, it's only the digital version. The physical version becomes available to pre-order on the 23rd of July, which is the day after the Pokemon Presents. Not only that though, we have some other updates as well about it, and this is quite interesting because we've got Central Elite here tweeting out saying Pokemon Legends ZA file sizes revealed. So on the Nintendo Switch, Pokemon Legends ZA is 5 GB in total. On the Nintendo Switch 2, it is 10 GB in total. So the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Nintendo Switch is double the file size of the Nintendo Switch version. Which, I mean, it makes sense that obviously it's a larger file because, you know, there's a lot more in it. But double is kind of crazy. Like, we know that these games usually have small file sizes, but I don't know, 10 GB, double the size of the Switch 1 version is kind of interesting. It's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be interesting why it's double. Again, it could just be because of the advancements in like the frame rates and everything like that, visuals and stuff, and it probably is that, but I don't know, we're hopeful we get a couple more features in the Switch 2 edition. Again, it's very unlikely to be the case, but you just never know. But either way, the file sizes have dropped for Pokemon Legends ZA. This is all on the eShop as well. This isn't like leaked information or anything like that. Because it's pre-orderable now on the eShop, you can actually see like how big the game is and stuff on the Switch and the Switch 2. And then also, as well as that, we've got Centro here tweeting out saying the Pokemon Legends ZA Switch 2 upgrade pack is only 1 MB. So that means all the Switch 2 code is already present in the base game. And the upgrade really is just a key that flips a switch to tell the game to unlock the frame rate and resolution. So the Switch 1 version of Pokemon Legends ZA has all the data for the Nintendo Switch 2 version because the update is 1 MB. So that's all it is just telling the console that, you know, this is playable as like the advanced version. So that's kind of wild. So what else is that 5 GB? I don't really know. And then we have people talking about, you know, why the file difference. The base game already has a size difference between Switch 1 and Switch 2. It already contains the Switch 2 assets. The upgrade pack basically just unlocks them. So yeah, that's just some new details about Pokemon Legends ZA on the Switch 2 and the Switch, file sizes and all that jazz. Again, pre-order it today if you'd like. Obviously, you can wait if you want to pre-order the physical edition and get like some cool pre-order bonuses. Then obviously wait until the 23rd of July. If you're getting the digital and physical version, then obviously you can just, you just pre-download this today. But it is what it is. That's all the Legends ZA updates, though, that I wanted to go over for today's video. Moving on, let's talk about Nintendo Switch 2. At the time I'm recording this, I don't actually have mine, but it's on the way. I got the delivery email literally like 20 minutes ago. It should actually be getting here within the hour, so very, very excited. But this is some information that you need to know about if you are getting the Nintendo Switch 2 today or in the near future. And this was a post from Nintendo Soup saying you cannot perform a system transfer again on Nintendo Switch 2 if you skip it during setup. So don't be mashing that A button, going through the setup to play your Switch 2 as soon as possible, because you will not be able to transfer the data if you skip this part. So do it slowly, make sure to do this, otherwise you will not be able to go back and redo it. So you can't perform a system transfer again on Nintendo Switch 2 if you skip it during the setup. So important information for those of you who have a Nintendo Switch and are planning to perform a system transfer to the Nintendo Switch 2. If you skip the system transfer process during the initial setup, you cannot do it again unless you initialize a system to factory settings. So if you basically go past it, yada yada yada, mash A, go into your Nintendo Switch 2 and you're like, oh wait, I need to transfer all my data across, you'll have to factory reset that console again, all the way back to then go through that startup screen again. You just don't really want to do that. It's just tedious, it's annoying. I get the excitement, you want to get onto that Nintendo Switch 2 as soon as possible, but just, you know, save yourself a lot of time. Go through it slowly. The startup is there for a reason. It's to help you kind of initiate your console in the best possible way before you can play it. During the setup process, users spotted a warning message telling them that if they skip the system transfer process during the initial setup, they will need to reset their system to factory settings in order to perform it again. So if you're planning to transfer data from your Nintendo Switch to the Nintendo Switch 2, it's best to set it up only when you are ready to perform the system transfer. So just wanted to make that abundantly clear for you guys. Again, you'll probably see it on the kind of startup anyway, because it says, you know, you won't be able to transfer systems later. But like I say, just don't mash A through it. Take your time. You got all the time in the world to play this console. Just get it right, and then you won't have to bother yourself in the future by having to factory reset consoles and everything like that. But anyway, that's just one update that I wanted to go over about the Nintendo Switch 2 for you guys. Finishing things off for today's video as well, we have a new Nintendo Switch 2 patch that went live technically yesterday, depending on time zones, but this is basically the day one patch for the console that I wanted to quickly break down. So I've got Go Nintendo tweet here tweeting out saying, check out the patch notes for Nintendo Switch 2's day one update. So this is something that you're going to have to download to basically play the console. It'll do it anyway automatically when you connect to the internet, but it says definitely going to want this one. So we've heard for weeks now that the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to need, or was going to need, a day one update to access a number of its core features, and now we know that to be true. Version 20.1.1 is officially live for the Nintendo Switch 2, and you can see the complete set of patch notes below. So the following features have been added. So you definitely want to download this. Again, it'll do it automatically anyway, but you can have the use of compatible Nintendo Switch software, so backwards compatibility and all that jazz. Nintendo Switch Online, you're definitely going to want that. Game chat, which again, I think is free until like next March or next May, and then you'll have to buy it with Nintendo Switch Online. But either way, it's free to everyone now. Game share, another new feature to the Nintendo Switch 2, so you can share screens, everything like that. System transfer from the Nintendo Switch, so obviously you're going to need that, otherwise you're not going to be able to play, you're not going to be able to kind of recover all your stuff onto the Nintendo Switch 2. Virtual game cards, so again, more backwards compatibility, more games, all that. The Nintendo eShop, definitely going to want that, so you can go and buy things and whatever. Obviously the news section, and then upload of screenshots and videos to the server. Nintendo Switch app on a smart device is needed to view and download screenshots and videos uploaded to the server, and then also link with the smart device apps Nintendo Switch 2 parental controls and Nintendo Switch app. And then also note, linking to a Nintendo account is required for network features with some exceptions. So don't forget your password, you're going to need to log into your Nintendo account. Updating to version 20.1.1 is required to use Nintendo Switch 2 game keycard, so can't play Mario Kart World until you do this. And then also updating to version 20.1.1 is required to use a micro SD express card. So yeah, that new express card that you may have bought for the Nintendo Switch 2 so you can have more storage, you're gonna need to update it, otherwise that's also not gonna be usable. But yeah, that's all the day one kind of patches. Again, you'll do it anyway, you'd be silly not to because you can't use the console, but just wanted to go over everything that new patch absolutely has in it. But that's going to be everything for today's video, though. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please do consider hitting that like button down below. Let's try and hit 500 likes. Does really help out. Leave a comment. How are you finding the Nintendo Switch 2? Again, I'm very excited to hear that knock on the door so I can go grab mine. At the time this video goes up, obviously I'll have it, but yeah, as of right now, very excited to get it. But let me know your thoughts on it. Are you enjoying it? What are you playing first? And then also let me know your thoughts on all the Nintendo Switch 2 stuff as well. Are you a bit surprised at the file size, especially with the update patch as well only being 1 megabyte? That's very, very surprising. Also, what are your thoughts on this trademark? I'm very interested to see what Beasts of Reincarnation is going to be about. And then, like I say, make sure to take part in the events if you're trying to get a shiny Porygon 2 or you're trying to do the 7-star Porygon 2 raid. Again, it's worth doing now that Scarlet and Violet are actually playable. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, like I say, drop a like, subscribe if you're brand new. leave a notification, leave a comment, subscribe, ring the notification, all that jazz. You guys have been here before, you know the drill. Have a fantastic rest of your day, though. Enjoy. I'm just excited about the Switch 2. I'm going to go play it as soon as I hear a knock on the door. Enjoy the Switch 2. Have a great rest of your day, and until next time, peace.